Tom and Jerry is one of the best characters in Multiversus, so today I'm going to show you how to truly master Tom and Jerry so you can be the best main possible. Tom and Jerry has an amazing set of moves and specials that may be hard to use if you don't have enough time on the character, and given that they're one of the best characters in the game, this guide will be a perfect introduction into their moves, specials, combos, and tech. Now with that said, let's get into the video. Even for being a mage, Tom and Jerry has a great set of basic moves that can rack up huge damage and make you not totally useless without your projectiles. Also a cool thing to note, Tom and Jerry's attacks never directly attack your opponent. Instead, the opponent is just collateral damage as Tom and Jerry are fighting each other. Just a cool little animation detail. Anyway, to start, their side neutral attack has Tom swing his mallet 4 times to get the full combo, which can fully stun and be a great way to rack up damage on the opponent. You can also turn around mid-combo in case your opponent gets behind you. Just be careful of your opponent getting knocked out of the combo because they can just attack you while you're still swinging at fucking nothing. Tom and Jerry's up aerial attack has Tom slam 2 trash can lids into the opponent, dealing good damage and good knockback. Although, I've noticed that sometimes the move can be hard to land, with it having a decent startup time. But if it does land, that's some good damage and it launches your opponent straight up, being good for killing at the top blast zone. Tom and Jerry's side aerial attack is a very simple one. Tom swipes in the air twice, dealing good damage and decent knockback. My favorite combo being launching Jerry with a rocket, then swiping as soon as they get knocked back by the rocket, dealing a good amount of damage. So it's overall a great move. Tom and Jerry's down air is easily their best basic move in their kit, dealing huge damage and acting as a spike attack that'll launch your opponent straight down. The fat as shit frying pan comes out pretty quick opposed to some of their other moves, and it does huge damage and is easy to combo into other moves. While you're in the air, always be trying to hit this move and don't be afraid to jump just to be able to do it. The frying pan is a very consistent source of damage. Tom and Jerry's charge attacks are pretty serviceable, but some are better than others. Tom and Jerry's regular charge attack sees Tom charging up a tennis racket that does some good damage with alright knockback. This attack also combos really well with his basic attack combo, but where the real power lies is what he can launch back. Tom is able to reflect any projectiles that he throws out, whether it be dynamite, Jerry's corks, or tennis balls. These can all be reflected to deal even more damage to your opponent. It's overall a great tool with its tech. Tom and Jerry's down charge attack is a very simple attack. Tom launches himself forward trying to grab Jerry and throws himself into the opponent, dealing alright damage. The main use of this move is that the move comes out really quick and can be comboed with his other attacks. But that's really about it for this move. And here's where the best charge attack comes in. Tom and Jerry's up charge attack has Tom using a paddle ball to deal continuous damage to your enemies. And the move does a great job at comboing into itself. The best part about this move is that Tom is able to move while using the attack, being able to run into enemies to start the combo. This move does a great job at keeping enemies above you in check, while the move having a high priority over other attacks. The more you charge up the attack, the longer it lasts, so you can keep your enemies in a long as shit annoying combo. Now moving on to Tom and Jerry's specials, which are the best moves that they have in their kit. Tom and Jerry's neutral special has Tom charge up a slingshot with Jerry inside, and then launching Jerry wherever Jerry is being pointed at, dealing good damage, having good hits done, and the move comes out real quick. Once Jerry has landed, presuming you haven't launched that motherfucker off a cliff, will stand there and perform an attack shooting a cork in either Tom's direction or whatever direction Tom is swinging, which sets up for good combos of infinite hit stun until the combo is over or until Jerry runs out of corks. If the special button is pressed again, Tom will shoot out a tennis ball from his slingshot that Jerry will deflect, and if you then reflect the tennis ball with your tennis racket, it will launch back dealing a bunch of damage, but be careful that you only have 3 until they go on a cooldown. Jerry's corks can also be deflected back at the opponent if Tom hits the cork with a tennis racket, piling up huge damage. Although keep in mind that Jerry can be killed by launching him off a fucking cliff or if enemies hit him enough times, or if you're Taz, vor him to death, which puts Jerry on a cooldown for about 15 seconds. Tom and Jerry's side special has Tom throw out a fishing rod that can be thrown at a long distance or a short distance depending on how long the button is held or aimed. This rod deals underwhelming damage with a great knockback, launching any enemies hit with it straight up, which can lead to easy kills at the top of the blast zone. This move can also be used to collect Jerry and bring him back to Tom's side if Jerry is thrown out, and if the rod goes past Jerry. This move would be a lot better, but you're left completely wide open to getting hit until the move has finished its animation, which is a very long time. A very high risk, high reward type of move. But this move has another benefit you typically wouldn't see. If this move is used in the air, it completely kills your air momentum and will launch you forward after the move has ended, being an amazing move for throwing off your opponent while being able to get yourself back on stage if you run out of jumps or dodges. Now we're on to my favorite special, The up special. Tom straps Jerry to the back of a controllable rocket like the Russians sending that dog into outer space. You're able to move Jerry to wherever you want him to blow up at. Enemies hit by this rocket will take huge damage but not much knockback until later percentages. This move is great for spacing out your opponents and making them play by your rules. If an enemy is charging at you, don't be afraid to send out the rocket. The move comes out quick on top of it being the easiest move to combo into another, more often than not being your neutral attacks. If you'd like, you can send out the rocket in one direction and move around by jumping, which can set up good combos if the rocket hits. When the rocket eventually does blow up, Jerry will fall to the ground wherever the rocket blew up at, which can also mean off a cliff. But if used correctly, you can have Jerry shoot his cork, you attack, and have the rocket blow up for huge damage pile up, being close to 30%. Also, if you jump and use the rocket ability, you'll send the rocket up into the side to hit enemies that could be in the air. Just be careful, Jerry is still strapped to the rocket, which means you'll lose Jerry after doing this. But if Jerry is already on the ground, the up special is used, Tom will throw a rocket in an arc in Jerry's direction, which will catch some opponents jumping towards you or if they're about to kill Jerry. But this is, in my opinion, their best special. But we still have one more to talk about. Lastly, Tom and Jerry's down special is a consistent move to have, due to it being another move that makes your opponent have to think more about pushing in. Tom sets down a mousetrap that will snap at enemies who get too close to the trap, dealing alright damage and launching your opponent straight up. This move is great for protecting yourself while using moves, or to just be a trap you put down and forget about. The hitbox is pretty big for the trap and can lead to some good combos if you're quick enough, but the better down special comes in the dynamite, which is just using the down special in the air. Tom will shit out a stick of dynamite that won't do much damage or much knockback, but will stun opponents out of their attacks, allowing you to counterattack or to get away from a combo. But if you equip the super perk for Tom and Jerry, you can split the dynamite into 3 sticks, and launch all of them forward, which if all 3 hit, will do some good damage. Overall, a great way to space out your opponent and allow you to escape from some combos. Really good move. This will be a section briefly covering the way Tom and Jerry are played in 2v2, but this won't be a long section. Play how you would typically play, but try using more projectiles, more dynamite, and more traps. Enemies probably won't be paying too much attention to these moves, which allows you to use them a lot more. Also, try using your fishing rod more often if you find your teammate is being doubled. It will most likely hit both of them, which can help your teammate hit a fat fucking combo. And try using your teammate's moves to your advantage. If you see them knock your opponent up, use down air and whatever else you would want to do. Also, try shooting Jerry at your teammate. Jerry will start to follow them instead of you, allowing you to shoot 5 corks instead of 3, and the rocket you kick will launch towards and follow your teammate, allowing enemies near them to get hit stunned and get comboed. This clip is a pretty good example of what you should be doing in a 2v2.
Call the fire department. We just nuked the building.
Tom and Jerry has a long list of combos that are quite simple to pull off if you know what you're doing. So let's get into them. To give a general overview, most Tom and Jerry's combos involve a lot of down air and up air with a mix in between, and also allows you to finish combos with your choice of moves. To start, doing the aforementioned rocket into a regular attack into a cork will be a great tool that will rack up huge damage if your enemy is hit by the rocket. A very simple combo to do is down air into up air if the enemy is at high enough percentages. If so, this will do huge damage on top of being an amazing kill option. Another simple yet bullshit combo is doing a charged up attack into another charged up attack or using up air. This will keep your opponent in the air for longer, giving that the charged up attack combos into itself. So it's an easy way to annoy your opponent. Using the slingshot into a basic attack or the side area will also be an easy combo to pull off. You can also catch people lacking if you use the slingshot into the rocket. It will catch your opponent if they decide to jump. Using the slingshot aimed down into the down air will rack up huge damage if you can hit the move properly, and it can also be spammed comboing into itself. This move is of a high skill combo to do consistently, but if pulled off it can rack up 50%. Also, thanks to Lost Grip for the footage. Using down air into rocket can be a good way to rack up some huge damage, and the combo can be finished by using a basic move if you're close enough. And a lot of their combos can be finished by using the rocket as well, but you should be within pissing distance to hit the rocket properly. Another great way to set up combos is by using the dynamite. If an enemy is hit, they'll be stun locked long enough to where you can use a down air, rocket, or up air, being a very versatile way to look at combos. To put it simply, using stun lock moves while using rocket, cork, up air, down air, or basic attacks is the main way to do combos. And as long as you keep using these moves, you'll learn combos of your own. So get in the lab and start learning. And that's about it. By now I hope you have a better understanding on how Tom and Jerry works, and some of their combos. And now you can be the guy who gets all the hosts because now you know how to play Tom and Jerry. If you liked my content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. I also have a whole YouTube video ranking all the Multiversus characters in a tier list, which I'll put at the end of this video. But with that said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later.